Before we start the video, I would like to give a huge shout out to two people. I would like to give a shout out to Ian for giving me all the information I needed for this video. And I'd also like to give a huge shout out to WhoNeedsLove YT. You guys should go subscribe to him. He's a small balloons tuber and give him some views. His link will be in the description and I highly recommend checking him out. Anyways, see you guys in the next one. Oh, what is up, guys? It's your boy Milk BTD here, back with another video, and today this is going to be a very different video. So inside of this video, we're going in depth in why on the top 3 strategies in the game. So most people know the top 3 strategies, or you might be surprised, but we're going to go with the top 3 strategies in the game, and we're going to go in depth on why they're good. So number 1, we have number 3, excuse me. Number 3 on the list, we have tack. So the strengths of tack include play aggressive early game and counter most BIA strats, for example, heli ice. It is also a phenomenal counter to Cobra, as you can play passive and guarantee a BIA, then spam Dragon's Breath to defend adjustment. Does not require much money to defend rushes mid-game and can defend early ZOMGs, but it's expensive. So its weaknesses, tack's weaknesses includes it cannot defend early ZOMGs late game, and you have to buy a Dragon's Breath to defend round 12. And why tack works so well is tack allows you to greed really, really well early game, since it's pretty much solos until round 6, I'm pretty sure, where greens and blacks, and even then, it might even solo to round 8 depending on what map it is. So that's good. And Wizard is always just a solid tower, as you guys can see. Wizard, the lightning is just a great upgrade, and Dragon's Breath pretty much solos round 10, which is what I was saying here. And yeah, it's just a great strategy. So some notes I would like to make is you can go for your BIA if you're playing passive, but I would recommend, if you're not playing passive, I'd recommend playing aggressive and go for facility and maybe send early ZOMGs and things like that to help drain your opponent. So that's why the number 3 strategy, tack, is literally so broken. Like, it's not broken as the number 1 strategy, but it's probably better than the other ones. And since this game is extra long, I'm just going to take the time to explain to you guys why I made this list. So basically, if you guys didn't know, Ian, or Nerf Best Bundles, as most of you guys probably know him, or Ian, has provided me with this information to help make the video, and he's on the top 10 prestige grind right now. He is a top 8 player on the leaderboards for prestige, and prestige leaderboards are basically they take medallions away for how much you lose. So basically, it's like top 10 win-loss record, essentially, on that amount of time with games played. Yeah. So the information is all from him, and from his opinion, and I would say most of them I agree with. So the reason why Cobra isn't on this list is because it can be countered very easily. For example, it can be countered by Wizard Tack by spamming Dragon's Breaths, and it can be pretty much countered by a lot of strats. The problem is, if you get drained with Cobra, if you're going against Cobra and you get drained, that's the reason why Cobra's in the meta, or why it's going to be good. So I'd rank like Cobra number 5. So number 4, I would say, is DFA. Why DFA, you might be asking? Because DFA has a really, really solid early game strategy in the triple darts and the dart monkey itself. And although lead popping power is really expensive, jugs are really good for defending rushes. Like 3 jugs, and maybe 3 jugs can pretty much solo a lot of rushes. And yeah, the ace is also phenomenal tower late game. If you haven't seen Lisa Team's video, he tried this strategy of maybe spamming ODSs, I remember, instead of going for specters. And ODSs are basically just like a bunch of fan clubs, and that seemed to work well. So that's why DFA is number 5 on my list. Or those are the notable mentions that I should mention in this list. Anyways, I'm gonna catch you guys when we get into the next strategy. Okay, so coming in number 2 on our list of the best strategies in BTD Battles is Dartling Farm Bomb. So this strategy is really, really good because here are the strengths. It's really good late game because of Ray of Doom spam, and it's incredible early game because a 0-1 Dartling can defend until round 6. But it can be countered by skilled Cobra players that know how to respond when the Dartling player gets their BIA. And its weaknesses, it takes a lot of money to defend an early ZOMG, and it gets outlasted by heli ice. So some some things that I would like to mention with this strategy is that a BFB against this strat, if you have your BIA, forces a cash out easily. And small camo rushes, since it's like maybe 2 sets of camo zebras and some pinks over top, are hard for it to defend because dartling does not have pierce. So while the impact may destroy the pinks, the camos will sneak by because dartling does not have pierce. So that's, I would say, a main weakness of dartling bomb is the pierce of the dartlings. That's what I was gonna say for now. Anyway, so BFB is really hard for dartling to defend because it takes a lot of moab maulers to defend and impact. So definitely, if you're going against them, you want to either prevent their BIA by camo rushes, like small camo zebra rushes and things like that, or you want to prevent it by sending an early BFB. So it sucks against Cobra because once again, dartling has no pierce, and with Cobra everything is camo, so cannon or bomb cannot see camo. So basically, it's basically you're gonna have to use Hydra rocket pods and laser cannon, which is really expensive. That's like $11,000 upgrade. And as you can see here, he's balloon boosting me greens, which is really tough for me to defend because the pierce of the dartling is not that good. So bomb, you basically want to use bomb for group popping power, and you want to use the dartling for spaced popping power. Basically, this is why this strategy works well. And dartling is pretty good. So dartling will shred like the ZOMG layer, while the bomb will finish up the BFB layer, the moab layer, and the impact, which is solo all the ceramics. And Ray of Doom spam is just really OP. The problem with that is that it just costs a lot of money, which is why you want to spam BIAs. Don't go for facilities, as facilities are useless. So you just want to get as many BIAs as you can. And even if they force you to cash out, you probably still want to go for BIAs. I guess early BFBs, our early ZOMGs are really hard to defend for Dartling Bomb. It's going to force a lot of mob maulers and a lot of impacts and a boost. So if you're playing like aggro with tack, for example, then that's why. So what Ian mentioned was that it gets outlasted by heli ice. So the reason why it gets outlasted is because of the ice stall. So this strategy does not have a stall, and heli ice does. So it's obviously going to get outlasted. And this strategy is kind of really weak against eco, in my opinion. So yeah, because against eco, mostly they're sending group balloons, and it's pretty weak to it. Pretty weak against group balloons. So as you can see, this tiny rush here forces me to get a cluster bomb, and I might have to boost, but it seems like we're fine, and we managed to survive just barely. That's another thing. You have to know how to dartling target, and that's a hard thing for some people to do, especially if you're kind of new to the game. So I'll show you guys exactly why this strategy is risky early game. Not risky early game, but meh. Like it's gonna be eek. Like you're gonna leak a lot, and if you're not a low life warrior, then this is not a good strategy for you, in my opinion. So let's see. Right here, he balloons boost me a lead. Right? Okay, we're fine. He sends camo zebras, but the problem is that I get up the impacts, but I need to afford the laser cannon, and unfortunately I cannot afford it. So that's why this strategy, what most of the time will happen to this strategy, but it's still a phenomenal strategy. So I'll see you guys in the next one when we get our number 1 strategy in the game. So the number 1 strategy in the game is obviously Ninja Farm NG. So this is probably the most hated strategy in the game, but it is the best strategy in the game. And I'm here to tell you why. So the strengths of this strategy is the balloon trap is a great defense and gives more money than a 4-2 factory round 20 plus. You can send constant spaced ZOMGs round 22 plus and will not be drained. And you can defend with not much money early game, and it's decent late game since you have a stall. So the weaknesses of this strategy is round 18 boosted Moab, camo leads underneath, basically forces a jitsu and a flash bomb. Non-perma-stalled or perma-saboed ZOMGs are near impossible to defend round 20 to round 24, and you lose to Dartling Bomb because it defends aggression early game. So NFE is not a BIA strat. It is 1,000% a facility strat, and it's kind of like with tack. You want to play aggressive, but it doesn't work passive, so that's the difference between them. But the balloon trap, as Ian said, can give you more money than a 4-2 factory on round 20 because of all the ceramics. So that's why this strategy is very indeed broken. NG can easily counter Cobra because balloon traps just suck in all the ceramics, And ninja, you can just stall, and you have jitsus who are great against moab popping power. Another weakness to this strategy, I would say, is bait round 13 rushes, because once you boost with this strategy with the balloon trap, then you're completely screwed. You sabo and counter immediately, because you have no chance of winning if you already boost on round 13. So small regen rushes are also very hard for NG to defend, which is a good point here. So basically, BFB, you want to try to perma sabo it, because BFBs can really drain you a lot, especially if you do not have farms. And like Ian said, non-perma-sabot ZMGs are literally impossible to defend, because they're just moving so fast. So if you guys don't know what perma-sabo means, basically if you sabo with the ninja ability, if you sabo before the balloon gets on screen, then you get then the balloon is the ZMG is saboed the whole time as it comes through the map, which is pretty OP in my opinion. And yeah, that's the main reason, along with the balloon trap, why NFE is goated. And farms just allow you to play well, just like instead of eco. So another strategy that works with this is ninja farm cobra, but ninja farm, ninja NG cobra, but ninja farm NG will always be better because of farms and how NFE sucks against the early ZMGs. And yeah, don't go for your BIA, always go for facility, play aggressive, like here I am playing aggressive against my opponent. And yeah, that's what you want to do, and eventually they're just going to die because you have so much more money, and you can drain them with ZMGs pretty easily. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.